and workshops are the only ways that messages like this can be put across to reach the people who need it most. For the governor, it is a work that every parent and stakeholders need to put their hands to make progress in the near future. For the students, it is a very important move, and with the help of parents, unwanted pregnancies are going to be reduced, if not completely stopped in the country. Famara Kani, Grts News.
Meantime, the Gambia Bureau of Statistics recently convened a national workshop for users and producers of statistics. The event coincided with the celebration marking Africa's Statistics Day, observed on November 18 each year. Rohibite reports.
All over, these officials from the public and government sector are bent on promoting quality data as the producers and users of statistics gathered to increase their awareness of quality data. This forum is part of the lineup of activities marking the commemoration of African Statistics Day, which is celebrated on the 18th of November. The theme for this year is Promote Quality Data for Africa's Progress, in line with the quest for African countries to produce quality data for use. Statistics is highly required to monitor projects whose quality can help policymakers in decision-making. As such, this conclave also revolved around the question why the need for quality data and the processes that are required to ensure the attainment of quality data.
You know, statistics is required for quite a number of things, and most importantly is to monitor progress. We have set goals at international level and at national level. And the way that we monitor this progress is by producing statistics. So this is why it is important that quality statistics is produced, because that will help policymakers to make informed decisions or to formulate policies that are relevant based on the data that is available to them, made available.
With presentations guiding the participants on the methodology used in census data, this gathering of statistic producers and users also intend to inform the Gambia Bureau of Statistics in its expansion of the national strategy for the development of statistics phase 2, following the expiry of the first phase in 2011.
We know that a lot of data or a lot of statistics is being collected in this country by the Bureau, GBOS, as well as other planning directorates and units in the ministries and the departments. But these statistics produced at the right time, do they meet certain quality standards, and are they utilized?
This two-day forum is intended to be an yearly activity with the aim of protecting the quality of data produced and used by all stakeholders in the country. Rohibite, Grts News.
The Gambia Armed Forces has taken delivery of a check for $250,000 from Zenith Bank Gambia Limited. The financial package, which forms part of the bank's corporate social responsibility, is meant for the families of soldiers who got injured or died in battle. Fatou Janembai was at the handing over ceremony held at the Defense Headquarters, and she now reports.
Gambia Limited recently reached out to families whose loved ones, soldiers to be precise, who died in wars in the process of defending their nation. The $250,000 gesture was handed over to the Gambia Armed Forces in a solemn ceremony held at the Defense Headquarters in Banjul. Receiving the check on behalf of the beneficiaries, Lieutenant Colonel Momodu Aliuba stated the activity is remarkable for the fact that it's the first time such a thing has happened in the Gambia. Lieutenant Colonel Bar cited the partnership between GAF and Zenith Bank Gambia Limited as very successful and hope it will continue to grow. Emeka Anyebunar, CEO of Zenith Bank Gambia Limited, hailed the relationship his institution and GAF as very cordial. Zenith Bank top brass went on to say his institution was very proud of the Gambia Armed Forces for their professionalism. Captain Abdullah Sar, officer commanding GAF Child Protection Unit, described the event as a memorable moment in the history of the armed forces. The Child Protection Unit is a very important unit in the armed forces, tasked with the responsibility of the welfare of orphans. Captain Abdullah revealed that the scheme started by sponsoring only 10 students, but it can now boast of sponsoring over 200 students in the country. Captain Sar equally commended Zenith Bank Gambia Limited for such a remarkable gesture towards the Child Protection Unit. Abdullah Baksture, Board of Directors, Zenith Bank Gambia Limited, acknowledged the role of security in protecting life and property as one of the major reasons why his bank was engaged in this partnership, urging other institutions to emulate. Zenith Bank's donation to the Child Protection Unit of the Gambia Armed Forces may go a long way in building the future of those orphans left behind by their gallant parents who for the cause, a scenario depicting the famous phrase, gone but not forgotten. Reporting for GRTS News, I am Fatou Janembai.
That story by Fatou Janembai takes us to our first break. We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia after this break. Welcome back. A university student has been killed in Egypt during clashes between pro- and anti-Morsi demonstrators. Police used tear gas to disperse the hundreds of students who gathered to denounce the harsh new restrictions on their right to protest. As we hear in this World News Roundup by CFI, thousands also continued to call for the resignation of the Prime Minister in Thailand.
In Thailand intensified Friday. Over 1,000 protesters stormed the army headquarters and the party office of Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. Demonstrators called on the military to support their fight to oust the government. The protesters are united in their loathing of the former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, the brother of the current Prime Minister. Thaksin remains a hugely divisive figure 7 years after he was deposed by royalist generals. The protests intensified after the ruling party tried to introduce an amnesty that could have allowed Thaksin's return from exile. A student protester was killed on Thursday in clashes at Cairo University between supporters of ousted President Mohamed Morsi and security forces. Hundreds of students had staged the march outside the university gates to protest harsh new restrictions on the right to protest. The law was recently adopted by the military-backed interim government that ousted Morsi. Police used water cannon and tear gas to disperse the demonstrators. An explosion killed at least 10 people and wounded 15 at a weapons depot in southern Libya Thursday. According to a Libyan general, a group of unknown people tried to attack the depot, causing the blast. He said the incident may have been linked to common theft. State television reported that a group of civilians, among them African immigrants, had been trying to steal the ammunition in order to remove its valuable copper. One of Bangladesh's largest garment factories was destroyed in a huge blaze that erupted Thursday night. The factory is located about 40 kilometers from the capital, Dhaka. There were no reports of casualties, but the fire gutted the 10-story building and spread to adjacent buildings. Around 18,000 people worked in the factory, but most had left before the fire erupted. Local officials say the blaze was started by angry workers who blamed police for the death of a colleague.
The International Criminal Court has agreed for defendants to appear by video conference for the duration of the trial of Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta and his Vice President William Ruto. The move came after several protests from Kenyans in Nairobi, and police in Niger have arrested a man suspected of planning 2 suicide bombings in the capital.
On suspicion of planning 2 terror attacks against strategic sites in the capital, Niamey. Security around the areas has been reinforced. Tensions in Niger were raised by 2 suicide bombings on May 23rd in the north, targeting an army base in Agadez and a uranium mine in